dating red flag.
Is it being on the DL?
You're on the right track. I have my answer.
Is it close enough?
You want to guess one more time what would be a red flag for me?
Bad music taste?
Oh, that is a good one.
Because that's one for me.
That is a good one.
Like,
that's
what
not
do you
what
mean
I put.
You don't listen to Michael Jackson? But okay.
Okay. This is a huge red flag for me.
All right. You know what's so crazy? I was going to say men.
Strike one. You're a man.
Yeah.
And you're heterosexual.
Yeah. I was going to say, so technically, because my mind was already there, I don't think I deserve to eat a wing.
That's just a pure joke, bro. This is how you know that these agendas are really blatant, in these last days. Satan shall come down with great wrath because he knows that he hath but a short time. So when it comes to things that we understand about this society, when it comes to agendas against the man, when it comes to all these leftist agendas, they're more blatant with it. They're more overt. So they're going to use a woman like a Doechii who came out of nowhere because she is a plant. She is a plant. She's a plant. She came out of nowhere, put out her little album or whatever. Nice little album, very talented, but you can tell that when it comes to these plants, all they're meant to do is push agendas. Push agendas that's already been at play, but push it to a point where it's overt. This is how you know that this is an agenda and it's not a real issue. It's not a real feeling. When I say not a real issue, I'm talking about that's not a real red flag of hers. That's an agenda because we already understand just when it comes to feminist movement and the homosexual movement and the transgender movement, all these different, all these different ideologies that go hand in hand with Luciferianism in regards to genders, all these different genders. It's all an attack against man. That's all it is. It's an attack against man. And mind you, she was more specific with it by saying heterosexual. That's how you know that that's not an authentic gripe. You feel what I'm saying? Like they going through these topics or what have you based off of, eating the wings and all this nonsense. But you can tell that that's not an authentic issue from her. That's an agenda. That's somebody, one of the higher ups telling her, hey, listen, we need you to push all these different agendas in regards to, bashing men. We have to bash toxic masculinity because that's all it revolves around. Like she didn't say toxic masculinity. She didn't say men. She said straight men. Like, don't you know in order for you to have kids, you have to be with a straight man or a man in general? Because a man could be a faggot and still have a kid with a woman. You get what I mean? So it's just like, what are we talking about? This is how you know that it's an agenda. It's agendas. Your issue is with straight men. So your issue is with construction. Because that's constructive. You like chaos. And of course, like, I don't know if I did a video on her, but I've gone through images. I did my research on this woman. This woman is a big time Luciferian. She's signed to TDE, a label full of warlocks. Kendrick Lamar, big time Luciferian. One of my favorite rappers, talented as fuck. But he's a plant. You know why? Because it's easy for you to understand plants when they work in the favor of the upper levels in regards to pushing all these agendas. So when it comes to a Kendrick Lamar, what does he push? He pushed female empowerment. He pushed this, whole divine feminine aspect. And there's nothing wrong with female empowerment just in the grand scheme. I'm talking about the lengths that they go to in order for them to sow dissension between the man and the woman. That's my point. And that's what they've been doing. And all these things are contrary to the Most High. Everything about this society is contrary to the Most High. That's how you know that we living in these last days, because all this stuff is becoming more overt. They used to have shit like this where they would do it in a surreptitious way. She's just overt with it, like, hey, my biggest red flag is straight men. What is that? What does that even mean? How is that an issue for you? Unless you're a Luciferian, unless you're chaotic, unless you live a destructive life. And she does, just based off of what she emits. I don't know her personally, but when it comes to things I researched about this woman, yes, she is destructive. And when it comes to her content, it's no different than a Nicki Minaj or a Meg Thee Stallion. It's just that she does it in a way that's more pleasing to the ear because she picks nice beats and she's a good rapper. But she's a fucking clown. And she's used, just like all these fucking entertainers are used. Assets, they're used. She's no different. She's an asset her damn self. And the reason why I'm so passionate about this because it's so blatant. It's so blatant when it comes to the agenda against men. I swear the man is an impasse in this world, bro. Even in the workplace where you're surrounded by all these emotional ass women. You got women that don't want to come to work because they don't like somebody. Like, that's how fucking emotionally fragile they are. And they hate men because men are the opposite of that. You see, it's not like they really hate men. It's more about they want to be a man. They want to be men. Not 100%. They still want to be a woman, but they want to have everything that comes with the perks of being a man. They don't want to be the woman that stay at home, clean and cook for my man. They don't want to be, oh, let me just be associated with things that's, you know, normally adjacent to women, like, you know, Barbie dolls and makeup. They don't want that. They want to muddy the waters up. They want to dress like men. They want to make suits and shit that's more tailored to women. But we already understand the original is always going to be the man. Even in the NBA, the WNBA, the WNBA players, they just want what men want. They don't want the equal pay. They don't understand that the men, they generate more, so therefore they make more. But when it comes to the women, they so simple-minded. They think like babies. They think like little children. Not to say that they're not intelligent. There's a lot of women that's intelligent that still think like children. They don't know how to separate the meat from the bone. They don't understand the different shades of gray. You feel what I'm saying? And when it comes to a man that's like upright, a man that's humble, a man that's not, you know, affected by things when it comes to little shit like not liking someone, and it's just petty. Like when it comes to men that's impervious to shit that women can't be impervious to because they so emotionally fragile, they don't like that. They don't like a man that can stand on his own too and not have to capitulate and conform. I remember one time I was shopping at H&M. Came across this woman that I think it was a guy that was just being really, really flamboyant. I was just like, yeah, you see this dude? And that's just me being a little silly because, and when I say silly, I'm just talking about me thinking that a person was going to agree with me because of just the nonsense of what I was seeing. This person, this girl, I should have known better, but this girl gonna say, oh, what's your problem? Don't you want your kid to conform to more than one gender? Because it was something about a man being flamboyant, and it was a little boy there, and I just didn't like that. I didn't like the fact that a little boy had to be subjected to another grown ass man being flamboyant. Like, it's just, that's not something that's associated with being a man. You're not a man. You're male, right? So I said that, and this woman gonna say, oh, so you want your kid? Don't you want the kid to conform to more than one gender? You don't conform to a gender. When you're born, that's just what you are. It's no conforming with that, bro. So it's just like, yo, like the mindset of these women, bro. The mindset of these women is so off. They so easily manipulated, and it's so easy for them to get down with the program. It's so easy. Even if they quote unquote Bible thumpers and they believe in Jesus, they don't understand. They don't. I don't care what nobody say. Yes, I speak with passion, but at least I know what the fuck I'm talking about. And I understand what's going on, what the agenda is at hand. And when you a person like myself who's intelligent, who knows things, people don't like you. And I'm starting to really see it more and more. It's like, it's a conundrum for them, because on one hand, it's like, yo, it's fascinating because I can tell. I know what it is with me. But on the other hand, you could tell people they have this issue because they're insecure. It makes them feel a certain way, like a man being a man. They want a man to be a faggot, bro. That's what it is. They don't want you to be a man no more. They don't want you to have your own mind anymore. They don't want you to be pragmatic anymore. They don't want you to be stern. They don't want you to be austere. They don't want you to think like a man. They don't want men to be men. That's why they use women or rappers like Doechii to push this shit. That was all agenda. That was agenda. That's what that was. Everything is an attack against the man. That's all it is. So when you look at a segment like that, please understand what you're watching. That's not just some regular shit.